We've verified 6,264 papers to give us a percentage turnout of 33.1%. 33.1% turnout. Now adjudicate whether it's a good vote or whether the vote is rejected. So can we ask the candidates and the agents only to remain in this room, please? That paper is void for uncertainty.
Oh, please, you've got to have that one.
Void for uncertainty. Void for uncertainty, but like to read it.
The greens with the women.
Oh,
it's just okay.
We just stop.
More than one first preference.
Basically 2,000 people that can vote for us. Yeah.
Okay, we are going to talk you through the count and the process of the count on this screen. On to the quota, so we now excluded Steve West, and his votes are redistributed. But again, no one's hit the quota, so at this point we exclude Bonnie Prince Bob. And again, those 48 votes are redistributed, but no one's hit the quota. So at this point, we have to exclude Mark Wilkinson. At this point, we have to exclude the next candidate with the next fewest votes, and that's Gary Neal, Reform, UK. His 512 votes are redistributed. And the final stage is the exclusion of Katrina Monroe. Her votes are redistributed. And as a result of that, one candidate left standing. So it's down to the last candidate in there, which is Kevin Joseph Mackay. Before we go any further,
right, that's right, come on. 36 votes. What did you get? 111, right?
111, yeah.
Yeah, get up them. Fucking right. Can we get a tune? Can we get a tune for 36 votes?
36 votes! That's what it got! Oh, 36 votes! What have you got?
What have you got here?
Exactly.
What is it?
For the council.
Alright. You get 36 votes!
Yeah.
I thought, like, if I had a vote, get fun. It was a 2-horse race in my mind.
Just realised my old volume wasn't on, was it? Yeah, well, it's on now. Where are we at? A quiet start this morning. Morning to you, Sharpie. Joe Haribo. Morning to you. Morning discontenters. Morning David Murray. I hope you're well. Matty Ross. Morning to you, soldier. Catriona. Where's everybody this morning then, eh? You can't have all been at the... Can you hear me now? Can now. Right, thanks for that. My damn guy. How are you doing? I'm a wee bit bleary-eyed. I had, obviously, some suffrage. I had to endure some suffrage. I couldn't find you on X. What do you mean you couldn't find me on X? Nigel, morning to you. Dave Swift. What do you mean you couldn't find me? Dub, morning to you. I don't know what you mean by that. How do you mean you can't find me? I'm there. Right, well, we've got a fair bit to get through this morning, as ever. I'm always intrigued. Have you managed to fix your VHS yet, or is it in a perpetual state of repair, as we all should be? This was the results. Did you enjoy my very quickly cut together insight into the by-election there? I have to say, morning Bob, well done Jimmy McRae, thank you. Do you know what? Next time we do it, Jimmy, we're gonna get you to pipe me into each housing estate in the in each area of the constituency. The spoiled ballots. Well, let me tell you. Oh, what have I done here? Top fans. I don't know what I've done there. The spoiled ballots were pretty disappointing, to be honest. I filmed them all, and they were all much of a muchness. I have to say, right, big thumbs down. I'm a big fan of spoiling the ballot. I think it's actually a very valid thing to do. I think that it's a perfectly legitimate way of expressing yourself at the ballot. But I was really disappointed. I filmed them all. It was like 3.5 minutes. I think there was about 50 spoiled ballots. And they're consistently incredibly boring. And you think, like, you've gone into the booth, you've got a pen in your hand, you could write anything, and you could write "fuck the king," you could draw a big fucking cock and balls, you could draw a pit, you could do something interesting, right? And nobody that spoils the ballots spoils them with any creativity. So I don't want to criticise the good people of Ward 9, who some of whom voted for me, but the perplexing bar straw drinking. Unfortunately, you know that thing when you're Sharpie says my favourite bit was the perplexing bar straw drinking. I agree. That was Stevie the plumber, who has the best name for a plumbing company. In fact, we'll need to create an advert for Stevie. He's a plumber, and the name of his company is Cisterns of Mercy. Which should mean that he should be never out with employment, really, to be honest, with a company name like that. But you know that thing when you're filming on your phone and then you realise that you've not hit record? That I missed the whole. There was a whole pint got siphoned in that manner that I just caught. This is another great mix by Leo Soke, once again, on the wheels of steel. Good morning again. I found you. My mate voted for you. Thank you very much to your mate Nigel Smith. I have to say, and as John McFadden says, yes, stop the genocidal Labour Party from voting again. I really enjoyed that wee exercise there. I'll tell you why, because I had said to comrades and whatnot that given the amount of effort that I put into this particular campaign, I thought I might get 10 votes. And once the transferable votes have actually gone across, it's I'll tell you what it is actually. I'll tell you right now. Here we are here. Bet you never knew I could do that, eh? Da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. What can I do here? Look at that. 48 votes. Not bad, like. So 48 votes is what I managed to achieve. And the reason why that's good, right, is, well, the reason why it's brilliant, okay? The reason why it's fucking brilliant, right, is because pretty much everybody else on that list, especially those to do with the main parties, were out pretty much every day and night of the week for the last 4 weeks, talking to a hostile electorate who didn't like them. And I found this out from the small, casual bit of canvas. Casual canvassing is how I would describe my efforts towards this campaign. And through my casual canvassing, I ascertained that most people despise politicians and political parties. But a lot of these folk had their street teams, their little gimp acolytes out there day and night, you know, trudging along, you know. To get what? To get a vote share, like to pick up your main votes, which are 1,000 odd votes each, right? Because the main story from this by-election, as with all current elections in our completely moribund culture, is what's happened here. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. There we go. Obviously the main thing is that nobody votes, and so the whole thing was a 32% turnout, which is obviously, for want of a better term, shite. Do you know what I mean? So like basically, and it's really just like, all due respect to old people and that, but it's very much like people of a certain age and stage who are still voting, you know, because that's their vibe. Let's see, there's a few more comments pouring in here. Good morning, Bob and the Bobettes. Suzanne Henderson, morning to you. Is that Suzanne, the good Hibby Henderson? If it is, then go on yourself hen. Thanks for joining us. And if it's another Suzanne, thanks for joining us as well. Do you think you've ever had a transferal vote from an uninformed royalist? It's a good question, David Murray. It's possible. I think it's possible. You know, that regal nomenclature carries a lot of weight in certain circles, you know, so I think that is possible. There we go. Zambo TV, anyone watch Question Time last night? I wish I hadn't. We are led by the least among us. Man, it was a panel of Muppets. Who was on it? I didn't see it, obviously. I'm not too troubled by Question Time. Aye, it's me. Apparently we've signed Rocky Bashiri again. I was talking I'm going away, but we've signed him again, which is good. Nice one. Right, I'm on the Hibbies. Sharpie says, how does the vote transfer work? Well, I think I can explain it. Genuinely, I think I have actually got a grip of it. More likely to get the just back from Argentina 78 vote. So what happens is, once the lowest, like you have to reach a certain number of votes or something, right? The quota of votes for a candidate to be elected was 3,000 113, right? Okay, so the elect. This is the stuff that's written on the bit of paper. Let's I tell you what. Let's dive into Leo Soki's backgrounds for a minute, just to make it a wee bit more interesting, right? So the electorate was 18,945. And the number of ballot papers received was 6,264. So, like, what is the, even those that do win, right? With this is the turnout. You know, this is a significant thing. This is like, we have to ask questions. I love our international audience. Greetings from Hong Kong. Greetings to you, Niall Fraser. Giving a percentage turnout of 33.1%. There were 39 rejected ballot papers. The quota of votes for a candidate to be elected was 3,113. So what happens was, I think you've got to meet a number of votes, so you get knocked out. So you get knocked out on account of who's got the lowest votes, and then whatever votes you've got get transferred on account of your second preferences, because when you vote, you have to vote in order of preference. I'm not making any sense. Like, it is a bit complicated, but it starts to make sense. It's kind of pointless in when there's only one seat to be won, and in a council election, I'm a bit confused as to why they use it when it's a by-election or something. It makes sense at Holyrood because you've got the list votes. Is that right? I'm confusing myself here. The main thing is, as far as I'm concerned, that after the transferable votes, actually 48 people. So 48 people in a ward where there was only a 33% turnout, where I was like, basically had no campaigning comparative to the main parties or whatever. I still managed to pick up 48 votes, right? Which is really good, which is genuinely great, because if you had a campaign that was funded and you went out and made an effort, because I can tell you something, right? I can tell you this sincerely. When I did go out, like, I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting looked to go out and do this and graft on it. So it's like, but what I found was, and for example, right, from those 48 votes, I can't say for sure, but from the amount of folk I spoke to, pretty much everyone I spoke to after I spoke to them was like, "They bother, pal, I'm going to vote for you." And I didn't speak to that many people, but I did speak to a bunch of people, right? So I don't know, it's hard to say, but I think that, if there was a candidate there that people were actually interested in with a funded campaign, it's there for the taking, basically. The political parties, in many ways, are comfortable. I've said this many times for people that follow me online or whatever like that. But they're very happy with low turnouts and a kind of apathetic electorate. But in a situation like this, they're not. It's a problem because they're really battling it out for a tiny little share of the electorate. They know that there's basically just a bunch of old folk are going to go out and vote, and that's who they're fighting for. That's who they're trying to. That's who they're trying to get the votes off. It makes sense with the second preference thing. Result, Bob. Thanks, Frankie. Buenos dias, compadres. I would have voted for you. I tell you what, if everyone who said that they could vote for me were eligible to vote and could vote for me, I'd be Prime Minister. I'd be Prime Minister by now. But it's still quite interesting to see. And you've got to remember as well, right? These political parties, the Greens, the Conservatives, the Labour Party. I mean, the best thing about that night was the Labour Party losing, of course, right? The genocide complicit, parasites, fake left, abomination of humanity. The woman that was there, Catriona Monroe, she was out in the lead. If you look here on this paper, this is why the transferable votes thing is quite interesting, because Catch Monroe was on 1,000. She got 1,293 first preference votes. This is why the transferable vote thing is pretty interesting, because she actually won the most first preference votes. But once the other people got knocked out and their votes got passed on to everyone else and divvied up, the Labour Party ended up losing, and it was the Liberal Democrats in the end that won. But that was brilliant, because I can guarantee you that they were grafting, that they were out there trying to drum up the disinterested community and spending their time and quite a lot of money, although it'll never be their own money that they're spending. But they've gone out there and they've lost, which is a great result. That these parasites, these horrific people, have been excluded. Even though they're all the same, really. But let's be Anne Somerville, MSP, Anis Sarwar. Oh, this was Jesus Christ. And Leslie Riddick. Wow, what a scintillating banquet of opinion. A perjurer, a gangster, and a couple of gay Mossad agents. Okay, is that Thomas Kerr and Leslie Riddick? Right. Hold on a secondo. Uno secondo. I've got a bit of a dilemma this morning. I've got 2 tickets to give away for the Corn Exchange this evening. So I tell you what, right? If you can retweet the stream, I can't think of a way to make an efficient competition to give away these tickets. I never thought it through. So basically, if you like and retweet the stream with quote tweet it, this is only eligible to Twitterers with Free Palestine. Just retweet the stream with Free Palestine, and I'll pick a random person. That's as best I can. Until I get staff, until I've got assistants. This is as far as my brain works this morning. I'm going to skip to a very quick commercial break. Once I find my mouse, and I will return forthwith. See you in a minute.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff.
Genocide is a crime against all our humanity.
It is the intention to destroy, in whole or in part, a group of people simply because of who they are.
To act by causing them serious bodily and mental harm, by deliberately inflicting conditions calculated to bring about their physical destruction, by killing them en masse.
And no circumstances can ever justify it. This heinous crime has 2 parts. 1, intention.
The Israeli government told you what they were going to do.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם.
2, actions. They decimated the healthcare system.
I had to amputate limbs with blunt instrument. Most of the patients I cared for were children with multiple amputation, devastating burns, injuries that no child should really endure.
They weaponized humanitarian relief.
Aid distribution centers are becoming literal killing fields.
When you desperately go out and look for food, you get killed. 2 of my cousins were killed while they were looking for food for their children.
This is collective punishment and extermination of the Palestinian people.
The world has seen a televised genocide. In times of despair, think of the ones who don't even have the luxury to despair. Your voice is so important, and we need it now more than any time before.
We didn't choose solidarity. we've lived under occupation. We know silence is death.
Stop the genocide.
Stormzy, what's your message to Palestinians in Gaza? Stormzy, what's your message to Palestinian musicians that want to be just like you? Hi, Stormzy. Stormzy, what's your message to Palestinians that look up to you? Stormzy, what's your message to Palestinians? Do you care about the Palestinian people? Do you not have one message? Shame on you. No.
Oh yes, I know. Always comforting me.
I am not a brand, I'm a human being. I am not a brand, I'm a human being. I am not a brand, I'm a human being.
Yeah, I hunt set and beg upon the streets. Be faced with a choice, will I rattle, will I eat? Bombed all your virtues and they'll never left to run. Playing Russian roulette without the bullets or the gun. You ever felt the anguish when you can't get a pun? All these fools daft when you want a rock to bum. You ever been too quiet, but inside you're screaming. Trapped in a life, the pain is all you're feeling. Feel you're getting bumped with the cards and God's dealing. Searching for the purpose in a life that's got no meaning. Your face tells a story that you can't really hide. If you ever fed a monster that lives inside. If you ever been consumed with your ego and your pride. Have you ever? You ever hit the ammo when you're heating up the spoon? You ever hear the voices when there's no one in the room? You ever been the gas and the doors went boom? Beating at the king. Selling all this content, but are you really content? Fitness ain't unclosed, but they're struggling with rent. Baby mother's stressing me, some calls me by my name. And for a little while now it hasn't been the same. I don't know what she teaches to influence his brain. Stop making me the poster boy in your hate campaign. See all the pain I live it, you try your best to vet. And me I wouldn't buy it if you try so hard to sell it. It's a never ending story, you watch me pleasing going. With answers from the past, that I was finding glory. But doesn't matter now, cause it all became evident. Do it on the phone, but face to face they're hesitant. Looking at a picture while I only knew the fact. She was raised by parents who struggled with addiction. Abused by baby fathers, she thought that she could fix them. How she do that when she can't fix herself? See me, I blame the drugs, but she's claiming mental health. The time I was in a flat and I tried to have a chat, but all she really wanted was a square up from the patch. Been there myself, I'm built for supplying. It was TT grub and she can't stop buying it. I had to find solace moving comfy in the rain. This Canada Goose coat don't protect you from the pain. And you feel like a backwards while I swagger down the main. R.I.P. Nintendo Go, we won't forget your name. 45 to the world, and then we go again. We never seen it coming, man, it was such a shame. We never say goodbye, bro, until we meet again. We never read the Bible until we meet again. Hey, fucking R.I.P. M2, man. 45 to the fucking world. This man. Right.
Okay, I am back. Just let me find my. Dave Hedgehog says on X, councillors are some of the least impressive cunts on the planet. I couldn't agree more, Dave Hedgehog. Just to let you. So, if you want to support Discontent and What the X, you can do so by travelling to the Ko-fi link and sending us a wee donation there to keep us on the airwaves and keep us developing and expanding with what we're trying to do, bringing the news that doesn't get reported elsewhere, or with a particular slant, shall we say. And I'm putting Dave Hedgehog's. It was Dave what said it, not me. Dave said that. Dave Hedgehog said that. Promise you. So I tell you, something quite interesting happened yesterday. I noticed, because interestingly enough, especially when I was travelling around Hutchison the other day there, a number of people that I spoke to were aware of and critical of the council's plans to redevelop George Street. And I thought it was quite interesting, because if you go on the evening news, morning to you, Leo Soke, he's with us in body and spirit. This is, of course, the man himself spinning the wheels in the background. But I noticed that a lot of people were aware of this incessant desire to terraform our existing city into something else. And the thing that I think is interesting about it, and I think this is going to become quite a contentious point, really, that we can maybe, again, I'm always making these kind of pleas for the people to come together. I fear at times it falls on deaf ears, but such is the way of life. But the council are intent on turning George Street into a sort of blancmange of al fresco blancmange, like, you know, just to get more money for restaurants and stuff, for private enterprise. And I feel quite strongly about this for a lot of reasons. But what I thought was quite interesting was that there was quite a lot of people that I spoke to over the last few days who were going, I'm not happy about what they're going to do to George Street, wee women in Hutchison and that. And there was apparently an attempt to veto the plans, and that was crushed. So there's essentially an incessant desire to turn George Street into this kind of bars and cafe pedestrian zone, right, where there's no vehicles or something allowed in it. I think this again is something really insidious, because the town is increasingly not for people who live or come from the city, right? The town is a place of tourism and business for tourists, essentially. So why are our taxes going to be used? Or they say it's from different budgets, right? But they've cut money all over the city, left, right and centre. The state of the town, I mean, have you checked the nick of the... let's have a look at this, like, we should get people to send in images. This was me, this is in the new town, right? This is the new town. Hold on a wee second. I'm a wee bit unorganised this morning. How did I get to this? I'm trying to... Did I do that? There we go. Right, look at this. Check that. Right, that's what the town's like everywhere, right? They can't even get the weeds out the ground. That's the new town. That's the prestige of the city, like, you know? I tell you what, where else you get hyper-local, hyper-global news like this, right? Where else you get it? Where else you get it? You didn't get it anywhere else, do you? Anyway, right, the town's falling to bits, and they want to spend millions of pounds on this nonsense. And I think we need to have some sort of public consultation about this. This picture is more accurate. John McFadden says, hostile vehicle measures, superb. Those eyesores on the high street have really improved the look of the street. £35 million for a few trees and planters and some stains. Are you having a giraffe? But I've got a more kind of like traditional perspective on this, to be honest. Hold on a wee second. Right. So, Ross Ormiston, 8 trees should really help the net zero incessant charge you are on. Look forward to weed-filled planters. Totally. This is a very poor decision. So, it's shite. And then you've got this Edinburgh Connect, is obviously somebody that works for the pedophiles, you know. This Edinburgh Connect, have they blocked me? Normally they've got me blocked. No, they've unblocked me. There's a heavyweight pedophile account, is the Edinburgh Connect, and then there's another account called Pigeon Posting, which is a sort of like a primo pedophile account. Anyway, tune in now. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Right, we've got two potential winners for the competition. If you retweet the stream, you've got a chance of winning 2 tickets to see the Jonestown Massacre tonight at the Corn Exchange, which will be amazing because they're obviously absolutely amazing. I'm trying to find. Was it this one here? No. Right, I had a pop at Ross, right? Donald Turville, new Edinburgh George Street designs approved, but deep concerns remain over funding, right? Who's approving it, right? This is the point I'm trying to get to. Like, nobody in this town, nobody in this town wants to have these changes done to George Street, right? Nobody wants it. But to be honest, right, I've actually got a slightly more. This looks fab. It's like somewhere in Europe, more Berlin, less Scotch, please. But this is the thing, right? This is the bit of me that becomes a wee bit kind of traditionalist or whatever, right? But what Andy McVanaman is kind of saying there is true. All of these urban sort of planning measures become these kind of homogenous things, like, so they're just the same type of designs replicated, and it's all in the interest of business, right? It's all centred on business and restaurants and stuff, so they'll put the rates up or whatever for these businesses, blah blah blah, but it's just about trying to generate money, and the integrity of how the environment has been is completely dispensed with, right? So if we go to, for example, where's my fucking mouse gone? If we go to here, right, which is a classic, I've played some of this before, right? Classic old school vibe at Edinburgh, right? You see the vibe in Aberdeen, where there was the Winter Gardens or whatever it was, and Ian Wood was going to, I don't know if did they end up destroying them? I remember for ages, they had these like really pretty, you went downstairs, you went down to the Winter Gardens, it was like these kind of Victorian ornate kind of gardens, and they had a real charm, you know, very beautiful. But it wasn't about commerce, right? It was just a public space with a vibe. See George Street, right? If you look at these type of vibes, right? If you check it, right? So
for St Andrew's Church. It looks westward along George Street, called after King George III, monarch of the United Kingdom. Since this became the city's main business quarter, many of the original buildings have been replaced. But St Andrew's Church remains on the site they found for it.
So obviously,
oval setting off the square pattern of the streets. Amid changes, the regular rhythm of Craig's plan.
I'm playing the violin there, you can't tell.
George Street.
George
With its
Street.
heroic statues marking the crossings. George IV for Hanover Street. William
See, we were allowed to come into town, right? The town wasn't sold out to tourists. I ken this is from like ages ago, but even it wasn't. It was still like this in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? It was still like this in the early 2000s. It wasn't just like a tourist mecca. There was still like folk just up the town, you know. Anyway, you know, you get the vibe. Glasgow City Council designated my local park a biodiversity zone. The cunts just stopped cutting the grass. Alright, Neva. Check this boy, who's that guy? Anyway, right. I thought this showed more of the street. There it is, there you go. Right, anyway. In my opinion, George Street, with its cobbled... Walter Scott lived there, eh?
In this house in Castle Street. The friendly advocate by day, the tireless writer by night.
There he was, scribing away.
The Waverley novels, still unrevealed.
Right. There we go, okay. So, Noisy Parker, going tonight to Brian Jonestown Massacre. Hopefully, no coked up Rajas scrapping like at the Barrowlands. Was that right enough? Aye, some madness. But basically, I think that if they just turn that into just this kind of like bland boulevard thing, I think it's outrageous, right? But more than that, I think that the amount of money that they're willing to find for these projects that are essentially going to just be for who? Who are they for? Who is this for? They're going to spend tens of millions of pounds to completely change the integrity of that street in the interests of some businesses and tourists, right? What has that got to do with us as citizens of this city? When we elect the council, I mean, people make these cliche statements like, you know, we want the bins picked up and all the rest of it. They want the bins picked up and that, right? But it's true, right? Those basic services are not being met. The standard of service from the council is not being met. And unelected officials are making decisions and the councillors are just being whipped and coerced. So, I don't know, me personally, I think this is a disaster situation and I don't think it should be happening. See if you go on the evening news, it's Facebook. If you look at the evening news Facebook, the article is there talking about this George Street changes that they want to make to George Street, right? And you can see from the responses, and they're just local people, you know what I mean? You can see from the responses that it's just a uniform rejection of this policy and this plans. And this is how it is with everything that the council do. So why is it that when they know that there is such huge public hostility to these decisions? Well, the answer is clear, because there's only 30% of the people voting, right? And the people that they're voting in are party political morons, right, who cannot enact or affect any change on anything. And the people that are making the decisions are the predatory capitalists, the big money men, having their decisions passed through via shills like Paul Lawrence and these unelected officials. The amount of backhanders and brown envelopes that must be going on in this council is off the scale, right? The council is corrupt. It's corrupted to fuck, right? And this city is getting ruined as a result of these people. So when Bonnie Prince Bob steps up and tries to get elected or makes a bit of noise and picks up 48 votes, and Mark Wilkinson, well done to Mark Wilkinson, he worked really hard, he got 111 votes, but it shows you that people are willing to vote for something that they believe in. And people like me or Mark or whatnot, we cannot possibly compete with the amount of money that gets spent by the major parties in their campaigning. But even with all that money that they're spending, there's still a tiny amount of the electorate actually turning out. So, you know, I guess it's up to the people that live here or like know what goes on or share what the X or share this message. It's like we have to get our message through somehow. And so, you know, dare I say it, we all have a bit of a personal responsibility to that. I would hate to see them do this to George Street. I don't think it's, you know, I would like to see money spent elsewhere in the city. There are areas of the city and there are problems with this city, and this is obviously replicated in every major town or city. But there has to be a point at which people sort of go, well, you'll get people that go like, oh, there's no point in voting, it's a waste of time and all the rest of it. If voting changed anything, they wouldn't let us do it and all the rest of it. There is a lot of truth to these statements. I'm not going to dispute that. But there's an aspect of you know, there is also that notion of like when there are people that are actually going like, well, I'll put myself on the ballot or I'm going to stand for this or stand for that. We really need people to coalesce around that to realise what the stakes are at, you know. Bojaws McGlinty, another, you know, if anything, we've got the best usernames anywhere. Absolutely. I think it's Princess Street they need to focus and invest in. It's an embarrassment. It is, let me copy your message here. Right, listen, I posted the Ko-fi link in, and I would appreciate if those that are able to donate a wee bit to Discontent or What the X. We want to keep this moving along, we want to keep it going. We're going to do a specific fundraiser, we need to raise funds. It's genuinely impossible to keep What the X going in this form, even at 1 day a week at the minute, without getting some dollar in. So we need to make a concerted effort to do that. But in the meantime, what's there's a wee... Oh, I missed... Hold on a second. I'll get this last bit of it. So this is Bojaws from Bojaws McGinty. Absolutely think it's Princess Street they need to focus and invest in. It's an embarrassment. It is fair to make that a tourist and leisure location. Pubs and restaurants all along to meet up and enjoy a world-beating vista. Enjoy a world-beating vista. Keep George Street a functioning artery, but this is what they want to stop doing, Bojaws McGlinty. They don't want anyone driving. There are a bunch of eco-zealots, right, driving forward an anti-vehicle policy, and we don't have a public transport system that's particularly efficient, you know, that can cater for everybody not bringing their cars in. So they're making it more and more expensive to park in the town, or almost impossible to do so. But if you're rich and you've got an electric vehicle, no bother. You can come into the town, you can travel around, you can probably pick up a whole bunch of parking tickets as well. It's not even going to bother you, right? So there's an economic apartheid happening in the town. You know, there's something to consider, right? And I don't think it's kind of wistful to kind of make this point, right? But all right, I'm getting on a bit, right? But when we were kids, right, if you went up Princess Street, you'd maybe see a few tourists, but you know what what you were most likely to bump into was your mate's Maz or your mag buying the shopping and going to BHS to get your fucking school clothes or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like Princess Street was the main commercial thoroughfare for people that lived in Edinburgh. And we had the castle, and we had Princess Street, we had the old town, and we were like, aye, cool, Barry, it's a beautiful town, and it's nice when the tourists come during the festival and that and all the rest of it. Then they fuck off, and then we've got the city back in it. Nah, those days are fucking over now, right? You can't hear a local voice up the town anymore, right? But we pay our council tax, what? So that these bastards can completely take over the town and sell it out to other people. It's quite perverse, you know? And people say, I hate this ambivalent response that people have, right, where they shrug their shoulders and they go, aye, but this is happening everywhere, eh? It's like, right, well, fucking what, we're not going to do anything about it, like? Aye, it's just the way it is, eh? Well, it's not a fucking, like, you know, predatory capitalism and neoliberalism. It's not like it's not like an organic process. It's not like gentrification isn't like a vine that just kind of like grows out of the pavements or something like that. It's a planned process by fucking horrible bastards, and they use artists, you know, all these fucking hidden door idiots, and all these moron like, oh yeah, I'm a creative practitioner. Yeah, creative practitioners. I went down the Laird of Camo took me to. The Laird of Camo took me down to the Scottish Government at the start of the week to the Creative Scotland Review, which if anybody knows what's been going on in this country will know that the person that actually caused that Creative Scotland Review by the government is sitting talking to you right now into this camera, right? Because of our actions and the scandal that we exposed, and hats off to Katrina Grant as well, who was instrumental in it, but the scandal of them giving Leonie Ray Gasson 120 grand so that some non-binary dykes could go and fist each other up the arse in some fucking cave in the north of Scotland and film it. That got given public arts funding, which is obviously outrageous. But it's just another example of, as Anne-Marie Ward would talk about, the quangocracy in Scotland and whatnot. You know, the middle classes just making jobs for themselves. But it's interesting, you know, because there's a real sense of entitlement. The real sense of entitlement within that class, you know. And what we can see is that I've lost my train of thought. That's what I can see. Hold on. Grab a pen and I'll send you my phone number. What's going on? Yeah, so that's what I was talking about, the artists, right? Any state-funded arts that are involved in that are aligned with anything to do with new developments should be an immediate red flag. And all the people that go to that like I'm off to a flame, like, you know what I mean, shame on you. Like, you should know better. You should know better. What have we got going on here? Free Palestine and eat shit, Israel. Brilliant. Rona Whiffen says, it's a sad state of affairs. I used to love coming through to the festival every year, catching 3 or 4 shows, was able to park my car, no bother, for free. Yeah, you know, this is the thing, you know. You know, it's like, this is a city that is, there is a total economic apartheid in this city, and it really centres on, can I ask where in Edinburgh are you from, by the way? I look onto the Scottish Widows building, brother. Do you not, Graham H4Z, do you not feel that the loss of the fact that basically Basil, whatever his name is, his building is going to be turned into luxury flats? Are you asking me where I'm from in Edinburgh? Have I got to break the Reddit rumours? It's even when I've said where I'm from, they're like, nah, he's not from there. It's like, I grew up at Jock's Lodge, so that's where I'm from. I'm from Jock's Lodge. Which is hardly the bourgeois, fucking salubrious bourgeois enclave that the rumours have created for me, but such is life. Ken, what annoys me more than anything? Being a nightclub dweller. Yeah, this is a perennial bugbear for anyone that, as Miguel says here, the extended licences in August and Christmas, the rest of us can get to fuck the rest of the year. The contempt that our council have to the citizens of this city and the way that they treat us is genuinely outrageous, and we need to really realise that it really would not take much of an effort to mount a massive campaign of citizens against the council to literally unseat and disrupt the entire monopoly on how this city is run. When you look at the vote share there, right? It's a small vote share, and when you check the sort of like, they've got away with this. They've got away with a lot, you know. And people are angry, but it's like they need to focus that into something productive, and it can be done. You know, hey, I'm full of ideas and efforts, but you know, we need the support. Like, you know, it can't just be all left to that guy, that Bonnie Prince Bob guy. Can't leave it all at him, like, you know. Why? Because that's no fair. I've done more than you can possibly imagine. And what thanks do I get for it, eh? Well, I get the great company of the What the Xers. I grew up in Porty, a nice one. Porty was kind of like a local area to me as well, really. Do you know what I mean? That was the sort of the circumference, like, you know. That was like, you were down to Porty on your BMX regularly in the evenings. I've mates down in Porty and that. A lot of pals with Portobello High. Form a party? No, I'm not going to form a party. I think maybe some kind of campaign, but I'm not into the party thing. I never find the party thing particularly. I find it a bit sketchy. Morning, brother. Who have we got here? Rona's wrote free Palestine and eat shit Israel. If Rona's still with us, Rona, if I offer you the free passes for this evening, are you able to make it? Let me know. And if you aren't, I'll offer them to somebody else. This is the extent of my competition skills. We'll get better at this, like, you know. Right. Again, I never managed to. I like this thing where people are like, they say this. I get Egyptian hash. Good morning to you. I like what you say most of the time. I like this. You know, it's like, all right, no bother. Who likes what anyone says all the time anyway? We're drawing to the. I need a response from Rona. Right. Well, we've got some options there. I'm trying to think how can I do this? You know, the right way. Now that they have all but finished gentrifying Porty, you'd think they would do something about the Seafield stink, but no, it is bad sometimes, eh? That's what I was thinking, Sharpie. The eat shit Israel deserves the win. That was my thoughts as well. Aye, yes, right. No bother, Rora. You've got that. They are yours. If you can DM me, or I'll just make sure. I'll DM. I think I've got you on the Twitter. Well done, right? Congratulations to Rona Whiffen. She has won the tickets, the 2 tickets to see the incredible Brian Jonestown Massacre this evening. The game is rigged, Bob. It's designed to keep alternative voices away from having any reach. That's right. But maybe we can do something about that. I don't know. Anyway, you'll need to forgive my slightly unorganised chaos this morning. It was a late night for me. The vote didn't get called until after midnight. And I need my 40 winks these days. I had to get up a wee bit early to come in and do this morning. Right, so the weekend is upon us. Corn exchange tonight. If you want to buy tickets, you can come along to see Brian Jonestown Massacre. Saw Anton yesterday. He's in tip-top shape as always. They're going down to Glastonbury to do Glastonbury on Sunday. Other things to think about on Sunday is Kneecap will be at Glastonbury. That'll be an interesting thing. Did they prescribe Palestine action yet? Did that happen? I didn't check that yet, or they were going to do. I need to nip off to Aldi. Cheers now. Cheers, Sharpie. Take care, my man. Edinburgh Citizens Party. Bojo was just getting right into this. Like, Edinburgh Citizens Party. Like, well, we can give it some thought. Maybe we can take a vote on it. What's John McFadden saying? Right. It's a jaggy jumper place now. The funny thing about it did happen. Did they prescribe Palestine Action as a terrorist organisation? Did they actually do it? Is that what happened? It's a disgusting outrage. I tell you, Reform. Think of the infighting. Reform got quite a lot of votes last night, 500 votes or whatever. I think what's his name again? Is it Grant or Gary? What was it? Gary, yeah. And he was walking away at the end of the night outside. And he was walking away because that was the guy that said he didn't think there was a genocide. Vote in Westminster on Monday, right? Okay. The last time I seen Anton, I was dressed as a slutty nun. What attire will you adorn yourself tonight with, Rona? The spray-painted jets aren't even owned by the RAF yet. Now that Gary, that fucker from Reform, was walking away last night, and I shouted after him, I was like, Gary! And he turned around with his henchmen, and I was like, free Palestine. There's your evening's anecdote. Right, listen, thanks so much for everybody who has turned up. I'll be back probably this time again next week, if you're lucky, if I'm lucky. And yeah, like I say, keep spreading the vibe. If you can support this content, please do. We want to keep moving on, we want to keep it going. And Halloween in New Orleans, fair play. It's the excuse to dress like a slut. I would maybe dress like a slut for Halloween, like, you know. I'm going to leave us with thanks to you, Nigel. Have a good weekend to you. Top Dreams mix. That's Leo Soke there in the background. I'm going to leave us. I'm going to play out. It's one of my favourite Brian Jonestown Massacre tracks. It's Abandoned Ship. And for anyone that's going this evening, I'll maybe see you there amongst the people. And if not, have a good weekend. I'll catch up with you soon. Take care, everybody. Ciao.